Everybody. Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to be here. I'm in Highland, Michigan with the Church of Golden Light. And this is our quarterly for the ISA, or the Independent Spiritualist Association of the United States of America. Today we're going to talk about character is destiny and actions build your character. And please remember, boundaries express the alignment that you have. The better boundaries you have, the more aligned you are with the divine. There are no winners in a family mess. None. It's divisive, it hurts feelings, and nobody wants to give and take. There are no winners when you have a family mess. And every single thought you have, whether you believe it or you don't believe it, has a consequence, because it leads us to the next thought, which leads us to something else, which leads us to a pattern. These are so important, and yet we think of grandiose things instead of the very small things that we do each and every time we put a thought out there. Don't focus on your affirmations, focus on your change. I have people that say to me, Mahela, I have affirmations all over my house. I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to get this car. Well, if you're going to get something, that means you're not going to get it, because it's always going to be in the going to get stage. Focus on your change. That's how we get where we're going. We don't affirm that. We change. We listen to people who's been through it. We listen to people who have the same goals we have, and people who have achieved things that we want, rather than being jealous of them. They went through their own hells of fire to get where they're at. Honor that. So focus on your change. And the other thing I want to put in here, and this is so important, Thomas and I discussed it yesterday. I believe God is going to heal me. I believe I am healed. Oh, that's a good affirmation. I believe I am healed. We're in the now. We're not putting it next week or next year. I am healed. You know what the problem with that is? We've moved into another dimension of healing. We are progressing. We used to believe, and that was important in our spiritual growth. We need to believe. That's part of it. So we hang on to the believing. But we are now in the phase where we become healed. You imagine yourself healed. You hold that thought when those self things start coming in, that talk, that self-talk. That's the most important talk that we have. It's not what I tell this one or that one. It's what I say to myself. Yeah, but I have a temperature today and I'm not really feeling so good. And the doctor said this and that. Believe and then know. It is the next step in our evolution. And if you don't take it, you will still be putting affirmations all over the wall. And you will be saying, I believe, but Helen, nothing's happened. Well, no, it hasn't, because you don't believe you have that power within. Science tells us we have that power within us. Now we have to learn to rely on the process and trust in our divine creator. Breathe with your mouth closed. You breathe in. Open your mouth slightly. Make a whooshing sound. And breathe out for a longer period of time. That will produce relaxing. One breath. Do it. It's the small things. It's not the grandiose things we look at. It's the everyday things that you bring to the table for yourself and others. We are so big in big things, we miss the little things. Those are the next step. Your strongest emotions are what you're going to remember. The things that hurt you the most. Well, you know what? Those are your teachers. They're not where you live. You start living there, you're not going to get well. It doesn't happen. You know how hard it is to get well? Do you know how hard it is to get well? Because our brain thinks in the past. Our heart pulls us into the next step. It's a challenge for every human that walks the face of this earth. A classic example of that is I'm a pretty slow driver. Donna gets on to me. Pat's a fast driver. I'm following Pat to get where I'm going around here. Oh, what a nightmare. Donna's screaming. Donna's screaming at me. Go faster, go faster, go faster. I am not comfortable going faster. You know why? Because of my history. We had a car accident. My son has massive brain damage from country roads, which we're traveling, and side streets. A car pulled out and the car caved in on my son's head. You don't think that makes an impression? You don't think there was tears in that? My precious baby. He was 1.5 years old. So she's whipping around all these corners. I'm looking at the side street, these 2-lane highways. I mean, deer can come out. Somebody can come on that. That's programming. There is something wrong with all that programming. There's nothing wrong with being cautious, but there is something wrong going 20 miles an hour in a 50-mile speed zone. And Donna said, go, go. And then I ran this red light. And I said, now I ran a red light because you want me to go so fast. I mean, the argument is on. That's programming. Somewhere along the road, I have to meet a middle. I need to go the speed limit when possible. You know, and Pat needs to go the speed limit when possible too. Just mentioning that, Pat. So, yeah, you did good today. Donna just goes, you know, she talks about her uncle aiming the car, Reverend Hilborn. But those are past programmings, and that's how strong they are. That is the strong one of the. I've had several incidents, but that's one of the strongest ones. And it shows up every time I get behind that wheel. And I don't know how to correct it, but at least I'm aware of it and I'm trying. And Donna's helping me. Time and lag for creating an achievement and having manifestation in our plane is important. We need that time for at least right now. It's a blessing. Can you imagine the teenagers? They could manifest instantly. None of us parents would be around. We would all be gone. We have a lag time. Now, it doesn't have to be that way. We know it doesn't have to be that way. We know there's instantaneous healing. There's instantaneous manifestation. But the deal is, as our spiritual and emotional bodies are not mature enough for most of us to handle instantaneous. We need time to think about our bad behavior. Just like I need time to think about what's going on when I get behind the wheel of a car. We need time to correct it. That's part of the human experience. What goes wrong is our ego gets in the way. We can't see what we do. We never apologize. And we stay in what we call victimhood. And there's 3 phases. First, we are the victim. Every one of us have been the victim to something. Every single one of us. We're not special. I was not just the victim. And then we go through a stage where we're a survivor. I have survived what this person did to me, and I'm going to tell everybody about it, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to keep this in my heart so it will never happen to me again. Well, there was a phase in human life that we had to do that, but we are progressing. And if we don't progress, we're not going where the divine wants us to go. Then we come to stage number 3, the most important stage as of now, and I'm sure there's more, but this is what's being revealed to us today. We become a blessing to somebody who's going through what we had been through. And our experiences are blessings. They are not to be held in our heart as, look at what I overcome. Our ego needs to be tamed. And I cannot tell you a better way than learning forgiveness. And everybody thinks, oh, I've been through the dark night of the soul and I'm enlightened. Let me tell you how enlightenment comes. You get an idea in your head. You think, oh, I got it. Now I'm enlightened. Yes, I am in this area. Just in this world. It doesn't mean you're this worldwide enlightened person, because if you haven't experienced everything in your life is a philosophy, because you don't know through experience. So now you're enlightened. What do you think the next phase is? That you're wonderful? No, that doesn't happen that way. That is not the way it's designed. Then we go through the dark night of the soul. The enlightenment comes. I have this really great idea. Maybe we have 3 or 4. We go along and, we're really great. And then the dark night of the soul hits us. Our world is turned upside down. We are in tears. And once again, we can either cycle the victimhood thing or we can work through our issues. And how enlightenment works is we get an epiphany. And in order to do that epiphany, in order to be God's person on earth sharing, in order to do that, we have to take it from this dimension, which is right, wrong, good, bad. That's what the third dimension is about. That's why there's duality here. That's what we know best. We go through a divorce. Oh, he was a jerk. He's this, he's that. And that's what it's about. We want, God doesn't like him, but God loves me. There's lessons for everybody. So we go through this, and it has to come through the heart, because the heart is what reaches outside of our body. Our consciousness is outside of our body. It is not inside of us, contained in a body. It's out there, because when we walk in a room, we know if we like it. When we meet somebody, we know if we like them. It's outside. It's reaching out. Everybody does this. It's not only the enlightened ones. I want you to know we all do it. So don't think you're any better than the next. So it reaches out. And what happens is that we learn to lift that dark night of the soul through the emotions and the feelings in our heart. We lift it up to the next level, or the next run of the ladder. And enlightenment then can be shared just through our light. We don't have to go around telling people I'm enlightened. I'm so enlightened. I'm so smart. No. We don't do that. I mean, some people might do that, and we're going to walk away from them because, God, this one's crazy. But then we get oversight. Thomas last night talked about being able to peer over rather than looking this way. That is the beginning of the new way that we are learning, and we get to peer into it. And that is the secret. And think about it. Every enlightenment must rise to the heart. There is no escaping it. None. The dark night of the soul is trying to get it to the heart and get past yourself. Hard. Real hard work. But many of us do it. That involves clearing out old beliefs and old behaviors. So we already talked about one old belief I have to get rid of, because that was one of my strongest emotions. Your strongest emotions, don't forget, you will remember. The brain is a record of the past. That's what our brain is. Our brains are incredible at storing memories and experiences. It's incredible. Do you know that you and I can dig up stuff from when we were 4 or 5 years old? And you know how many years that is in this world?
Back in the 1900s.
I mean, come on. Our kids don't even remember not having remote control. They don't remember not having the internet. We remember when it came out and we had dial-up for AOL. And we knew, and we can tell you all the processes we had to go through that, every process, because our brain is a great memory store for us. Somehow or another, it feels like it doesn't work together, but somehow or another it does. And I don't have that answer yet. And when I get it, I'll be glad to share it with you. But I just don't know how this works. I don't understand why it has to be so hard, but it is. This is not easy path that we've all chosen for ourselves. When thinking of the past, every single memory each of us has an emotion to it. My son, brain damage, hospital stays, crying, 14 hours of brain surgery back in 1972 at the University of Florida in Gainesville. You don't think that has an emotion attached to it? Think again. Each of you have had terrible traumatic experiences at some point or another in your life. And there's an emotional attachment to it. And it is our emotions that get us in trouble. Our temper gets us in trouble. If you can't control your temper, I'm guaranteeing you others are going to control you and you're going to hate them because it's going to be their fault, everything. That's how it works. I don't know why it works that way. That's how we are. I don't know why. And your focus is going to direct your energy. Your focus will direct your energy. Students go to college. I want to be a doctor. I got 20 years of education to go through, hundreds of thousands of bills. I don't know how long they go, but anyway, they have a focus. But while you're focusing on your goal and working towards your goal, lead your life. We are put here to experience life. Have your focus, do the things that are going to get you where you're going. Dropping out of school is not an option if you want to be a doctor. So that's not one of the things you do to lead your life, going to be a doctor. Lead your life, be who you are, but don't lose your focus. And never, ever, ever forget, energy carries information. The information that you have in your mind, it's going to carry. And if you don't believe me, quantum physics is now proving you can, those balls that they have, and you hit one and the end one goes and this one goes. Yeah. Quantum physics has proven that you can have a ball here and one halfway around the world. You tap it, and that ball halfway around the world is signaling almost before the one that gets tapped here. That's how we're connected. We don't even see how we're connected. I got this body, my body's kind of cute. We're connected, but we're connected through the heart energy. And did anybody teach us that at school? The heart pumps blood. We're connected through the heart. And scientists are learning something that's incredibly important. Part of the new way is that our gut has its own mind too, just like our heart. We don't know a lot about that right now, but it is the truth. More importantly, you have to learn this. You have to understand it. And you have to believe. You have to know. No, we're into the world of Aquarius. We're entering that stage. As of November, I think, in fact, I have an astrologer here. When do we actually totally hit that stage where we're not going in retrograde and all the planets are going that way? Do you know offhand? Debbie?
Yeah.
No, where the planets are going. Is it like November when we are just solidly in it?
We did that last November.
Okay, last November. Okay, I'll go with that. That's where we're going. Okay.
We're talking about consciousness. Because Aquarius is the trenches.
That is correct.
That's how we connect. So you are absolutely right. So,
And even more importantly, we have to learn how to communicate with this new energy. You're right, it was last November. I wanted to put it this November. Sorry, folks. That's why we have the professional astrologist here, because I'm only talking about what I think I know. Be careful when I talk like that. So we have to understand it, but we have to become it because we're going somewhere else. And more importantly, learn how to communicate with this new energy. I am going to have a workshop on that. I'm not done with it yet. It's one of the hardest workshops I've ever worked on, but I promise you, when I have it, you're going to get it. And Donna's just not happy about it. I call this learning to talk universe language because that's where we're going. And this is a language that is a transformation, and it turns into a language of change. You know, we are the only generation that is stepping out of the old and stepping out of the new into the new. We are the crossover generation, the hardest generation of this millennia. That's why we're having the problems. That's why we are supposed to be the ones to take the step forward to show them the way. The next generation is going to be a lot smarter than us. We already see it. Don't be jealous of them. Encourage them because it is the way it is designed. Different intentions produce different effects. Every intention that you have is going to produce an effect. For you, for somebody else, for the universe. That's how important this universal consciousness is going to become for us down the road. We are the transition people. It's not the journey nor the destination that counts here. It's who you become during this journey. That's what's going to count for generations to come. For generations. We signed up to make a difference, and that's what we're supposed to do. Knowledge without experience is simply a philosophy. You listen to somebody that don't have experience and they expound these wonderful things. They don't tell you how hard it is to get there. I'm in the trenches with my people. This is hard work, and nobody likes it. The power of our language changes our biology, especially that self-talk from here to here. That's what changes our biology. Consciousness informs itself through its creations. And I want to remind you, no matter what your problem, God is still the answer. And if you trust in your Heavenly Father, He'll never let you down. God bless each and every one of you. God bless you. Uh-oh. I'll open up only for short and very few comments. And I'm not going to go to the yeah, wait a minute. I can't turn off my Zoom. It's not giving me the option. Here we go.